What's going on, everybody? Coach Brian King here, Kingdom Day Traders. Just wanted to give you an edge. It's Monday. There's a headline that actually came across on Bloomberg that really jumped out at me. And I think it was just kind of giving a glimpse of what we need to expect and even be prepared for. So just kind of read it with me as we kind of scroll down. End of easy money brings a 410 billion global financial shock. Remember during COVID time, due to the pandemic, people are staying home. The Federal Reserve was pumping money into the economy so that the economy would stabilize. The challenge is that if you keep on printing money, you start to devalue the money and inflation starts to go up. So let's kind of watch what's going on. Inflation is pushing central banks to shrink their balance sheets as they hike interest rates according to a new risk for the world economy. Now, what also jumped out at me is that when this is happening, now seven more countries are going to be doing this. So at one time, the US was the only one doing this. Now we're having seven other countries that's going to shrink their balance sheets for about 410 billion to the remainder of 2022. Now, this is a big turnaround because when COVID had first started, we actually added 2.8 trillion. So that's a total expansion of about 8 trillion since COVID. That's huge, folks. Also, what we have to pay attention to is that due to this, it's going to be a shock because there's going to be a tightening, right? And so they call it quantitative tightening, which is the opposite of quantitative easing. So central banks are going to be turning around the pandemic, and it hasn't been like this since the Great Recession. So likely we're going to see borrowing costs go up, dry up liquidity. You're going to see rising in bond yields, shares of price falling within the stocks, and the dollar is going to be starting to get tightened. So I just wanted to kind of bring that out, really to kind of sound the alarm. Woo, 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 woo. Pay attention. On top of that, we're seeing a weaker outlook, and the Fed is expected to raise about 50 basis points as it is of May 3rd to the 4th policy meeting. So that's going to see some big movement into the market itself. So pay attention to the SP 500, pay attention to the NASDAQ 100, and really start to see how this stuff is starting to affect the economy. So I'm not going to talk too long. Hopefully this kind of just put the word out, but do me a favor, do some research and start to make yourself aware of what's going on in these markets. With that being said, mindset, multiplication, and management. Kingdom Dominion strategy. Cheers.